there. So today we're going to be a little bit bitchy, a little bit sassy. I'm going to be kind of roasting some makeup products that I've tried over the past few months and I've just not liked. I've said no siree, not for me. So I've got a whole bunch of products and I'm just going to go through them as quickly, concisely and succinctly, oh my gosh, succinctly as possible. So today we're actually going to begin with a product that is kind of like a love-hate kind of product for me, and this product actually is a lot of products. It's a whole line of products. The NYX Liquid Suede. I did go ahead and buy the Vault, included every single shade, including all of the newer shades as well of the NYX Liquid Suede formula, and they came in like these little kind of cute minis. I've got loads and loads of these just like hanging about. Now the reason why I love these products is because of the colours. Like, I think the shade range of the Liquid Suedes is amazing. Like, it's fantastic. They've got some absolutely beautiful, unique, kind of vivid, bright, pigmented shades. This one, which is Orange County. This one, which is Respect the Pink, it's one of my absolute favourites. This one in Brooklyn Thorn. This is one of my absolute favourite lip shades like ever in the world. So they've just got tons of absolutely like stunning shades. The reason why I really hate the Liquid Suedes is because of their formula. I usually don't like to kind of discriminate against a whole line, particularly with like liquid lipsticks, because I do find that with liquid lipsticks you can get a variation in formula dependent on the shade. For example, you could have like the Too Faced Melted Matte liquid lipstick range, and some of the shades could be really brilliant and some other ones could just be like dodgy as feck. But with the Liquid Suedes, in my opinion, after having tried like all 30 of the line, the formula is consistent and it's just as crap in them all. I know that a lot of people do like the Liquid Suedes, but for me, I find that they're incredibly drying on the lips. But the thing that I really dislike about them most is I find that whenever I'm wearing them, in like the corner of my lips, like at the top and the bottom, it gets crusty like within minutes. This isn't like after you've had it on for hours, you know, in a busy work day when you've just been like, you know, talking away to everyone. This is like immediately after you put them on, they just get really crusty, and I don't like that. I'm not down with the crusty lip. So unfortunately for me, as much as I love the shades of these Liquid Suedes,
the shades of the Liquid Suedes, shade suede, shade suede, shade of the Liquid Suede.
If I'm ever like a SoundCloud rapper, I think my name will be Lil Suede Shade Suede. That's gonna be me. But anyway, yeah, I love the shades. I do wear these, but I only wear them when I'm filming, just because I only kind of have them on my lips for a limited amount of time. I would never wear these to work or to Tesco or to the sex club. I don't go to the sex club, but I would never wear them out, if you know what I mean. In the words of Amy Winehouse, I say no, no, no. Okay, so next I've got 3 foundations that I have tried over the past few months. So the first one is by The Body Shop, and this is their Matte Clay Skin Clarifying Foundation. This should really be called the Skin Cakiness Foundation. Oh my gosh, like this was as dry as a nun's vagina. It did not make my skin look good at all. Now keep in mind, I've got oily skin, but this managed to make my skin look dry. After I did like my review on this, I did go and watch a few other people's reviews, and it did seem to be, I did get the impression that the unanimous kind of, you know, feeling surrounding this foundation was that it just was not very good. I wouldn't recommend this to anybody. It just looked awful on my skin. It aged me. It brought out dry patches that I did not even know I had. It cost £15, which actually, I know it's not like a high-end like Too Faced, Yves Saint Laurent. No, it's not like a super like expensive foundation, but for £15 it is getting up there. And if you think like you could get a Maybelline foundation for like $7.99 that's really, really bomb to the diggity good. I'm talking about the Superstay by Maybelline. Then yeah, I just would give this one a hard pass. Okay, so the second foundation that I have tried is one by W7. This is the Legend Lasting Wear foundation. So I did actually film like a first impression and review on this foundation, but then when I switched from my laptop to my Apple iMovie, is it called iMac? I have no idea what it's called. It's an Apple computer, iMac. I think it might be an iMac, but laptop just gave up the ghost and said, I'm not working anymore. And I lost a load of footage that I'd already filmed. And also this review was a victim of that. I thought that this one looked really, really pretty when it first went on, but the coverage was very light. It didn't really do much to kind of, you know, smooth out my skin. It didn't perfect my skin. It was very similar to like a tinted moisturiser, although it didn't feel moisturising on my skin. It just felt greasy as feck. I mean, although this is super, super cheap, I don't think it's a super, super foundation. So I would not recommend the Legend Lasting Wear foundation, more like the Loser Lasting Wear foundation. The final foundation that I have today to roast is the Makeup Revolution. I think it's the Fast Base foundation. So I was really, really excited about this because it's Makeup Revolution's very first stick foundations. I think that the packaging is extremely stylish, trendy, and it just kind of looks really, really kind of expensive. So I had really, really high hopes for this, but unfortunately it let me down. I think that it kind of looks good on your skin. It's got a beautiful kind of natural finish to it, but unfortunately it just did not wear well on my oily skin. Also, because I am 34 now, I have fine lines, I have pores, and I just feel like it didn't really sit too comfortably on top of those situations. It's one of those foundations that just kind of, you know, sinks in a little bit, so it just like thinks, do you know what, I'm going to just sink into the pores and just, you know, magnify them to the world. I know that a lot of people do really, really love this foundation, and that's wonderful. I'm really happy that some people do, but for me it was, again, solid pass.
To the wall, to the sweat drops from my balls. Balls, 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 balls.
Okay, so next I have 3 mascaras. The first one is the Dark Magic by Max Factor. I recently did a first impression on this. This cost like $10.99, which, excuse me, Max Factor, that's pretty expensive in my book for a drugstore mascara. So this one has a very kind of gratuitously large and quite a complex looking wand. It kind of reminds me of, like, you know, the infinity symbol, because it kind of goes like this. Do you know what I mean? It looks very kind of over manufactured, in my opinion, for what is essentially a mascara wand. Because of the complexity of the creation, it's really, really difficult to actually do your lashes neatly, because the brush is A, quite wide, and B, quite long. Usually those are 2 assets that I don't complain about, like really, generally, in other areas of my life. But in my mascara wand, I don't want it to be overly wide, and I don't want it to be overly long. I just want it to be nice, compact, easy to use, so that you can, you know, capture every single lash and coat them in the fabulous mascara. And I feel like the final result was okay. Like, I liked it, but it wasn't really worth the journey. Like, I'm just going to use the word journey. It was not worth the treacherous journey, you know, when you're kind of sweating your vagina off because you're worried that you're going to destroy your eye look, because the wand is just so huge, you know what I mean? So I don't like Dark Magic, and I think it's rather expensive for a drugstore mascara. The second mascara that I'm going to be roasting is by Maybelline. This is the Total Temptation. I actually really, really loved this one when I first tried it. I did a first impression here on my channel, and I loved it. And I actually enjoyed it, you know, the few times after the first time. But then, probably about a month later, it all went wrong. This formula just dried up incredibly quickly, and it got really, really thick, kind of chunky, goopy, and difficult to kind of spread on your lashes. It has like a really bizarre, what started out as being like a coconut kind of scent, but now it smells like almonds. I can't remember exactly when I bought this. I'm gonna have to go back and check when I did the first impression. But it does say, oh, so if it was over 6 months ago, maybe it can be forgiven for that smell. But to be honest, like even after a month of having this, it was stinking, like literally. Yeah, and it's strange though, because wouldn't you think to yourself, like if you've not had a scented mascara before, you would think to yourself, well, how am I ever going to smell it when it's up on my eyelashes? But holy goddamn, you can smell this bad boy when it's on your eyelashes. And you see as well just how clumpy the formula is and just how unruly and messy this wand looks. The formula just really went off very quickly for me. And for that reason, I would not recommend this mascara, although I did really like how it looked and how it applied. It just didn't last long enough for me. It's very similar to an experience that I had with the L'Oreal Lash Paradise. That one I loved at first, but then it just dried up super, super quickly. So yeah, this one, hard pass. Okay, so next we have a liquid highlighter, and this is by the UK-based brand Barry M. So this is their liquid chrome highlighter drops, and I have this in the shade Precious Pearl. It looks like absolutely gorgeous. If I just do a little swatch, you will see what I mean. You know, if you're a fan of like liquid highlights, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this one. And I'm not kind of criticizing this as a product. I'm not in any way saying it's not good at what it does, because it does what it does, I'd say very agreeably. I'm more kind of making a point about liquid highlighters in general. I went through a stage of just being totally seduced by, you know, a liquid highlighter, and I used to buy them and then I would just like never use them. It's kind of tough to know what to do with them. You could put them on like after your moisturizer and have like a glowy base and then pop your foundation over the top, but then are you not masking, you know, the fabulous glowy base that you have with your foundation? You could kind of pop it on over your foundation, but then I'm always like incredibly worried about disturbing like my foundation underneath, and I always feel like you never quite get the same sensational glow that you do from a powder with a bit of Fix Plus. I buy them and don't use them, so I've kind of put a little bit of a spending ban on liquid highlighters. But the main reason why I wanted to kind of mention this today was not to just have a big debate about liquid highlighters, but one of my subscribers a couple of videos ago said that with liquid, oh Shania, oh my gosh, like literally I almost dropped it. By the way, this is quite the emollient product, but look at it, it is sexy as hell, can't deny that. But yeah, one of my subscribers said that she puts liquid highlighter in her sunscreen, and I thought, oh holy vaginas and balls, what a great idea. Like, that's like the most inspired idea ever. I mean, obviously there's probably more life-changing ideas out there, like, you know, the invention of antibiotics, etc. But I just thought, oh my gosh, yes, mix this in with your suntan lotion and you're going to be a glowy goddess. I mean, I imagine you're all glowy goddesses anyway, but you could be even more glowy. And I just thought that was an amazing idea. You could mix it in with your moisturizer. Oh my gosh, the possibilities are endless. Just mix it in with your lubrication for your dildo. Whatever you do with a liquid, mix this in and it would just be phenomenal. So anyway, I just thought that was like a really good tip, so I wanted to mention it today before I forget. Okay, so I have two products left and they're both eyeshadow palettes, and I feel like the second one might surprise you just a little bit. Again, it's like a love-hate kind of situation, but the first palette that I'm going to mention is this one. It's by I Heart Revolution. Is that I Heart Makeup? I don't know, but anyway, I got it from Makeup Revolution. This is the Rose Gold Mini Eyeshadow Palette. The look of this palette, I think aesthetically is spot on. It looks really good, and I actually think that the shades, like the colour family and just everything about the appearance of the palette is outstandingly good. The problem for me was the actual formula of the eyeshadows. I found the shimmers were quite underwhelming, and I found that the mattes were the type of formula that you cannot overblend. It's kind of like the more you blend, the more they just like fade into obscurity. I feel like they're not the most pigmented shadows in the world. Because of that, it leaves you with a rather faded out eye look. I feel like the best way to use these kinds of, you know, not very pigmented but very easily blendable eyeshadows is to just kind of pat them on and then not really blend them out. Because I feel like as soon as you start blending, you lose all the pigment. So unfortunately, I never use this palette because I just don't think the quality of it is quite as good as my other palettes. The second palette that I've got today, which I feel like it's a little bit of a surprise, because on the one hand, I love this palette, but then I don't. This is the Thirsty palette by Jeffree Star. I have recently done a review on this. Look how it's changing my whole colour. Look, this is Anwen, normal Anwen. Ice Princess Anwen, like, ooh. Oh my gosh, I don't know which I prefer. I actually prefer the colour in my face and not looking dead. I love this palette for the shimmers. These 5 like metallic shimmer shades in the middle are just spectacular, and some of the finest shimmers that I've ever used, with the exception of the Gervais Place shimmers. So these ones are fantastic, and in all honesty, I would have bought the palette just for those shimmers. The problem for me, and the kind of flaw of this palette, is the mattes. In exactly the same way that I feel like the Makeup Revolution matte eyeshadows kind of blend to obscurity, I feel like these mattes do the same. Like this morning I was doing my eye look and I was thinking, right, I'm just going to give this one another go. So I applied a little bit of this orangey kind of shade and then a bit of this kind of like browny orangey shade. Just blend, and they blend beautifully. There is absolutely no argument that these don't blend well, because they do, but they blend and they fucking disappear. They go, they're off, they jump in a taxi and they're gone. I feel like with eyeshadows, right, you either get an eyeshadow that's extremely strongly pigmented but maybe a little bit tricky to blend, or you get an eyeshadow that is extremely easy to blend but then it just kind of blends out into nothing and you lose all of the pigment. The mattes in this palette I don't like, and I will not be using them. The blue, or was it the green I used? I'm not sure. I used the blue or the green in a video. Did not like. Yeah, if you're buying this palette for the mattes, I would say don't do it. There's much better formulas out there with Gervais Place, with NYX. I'm just looking over at my eyeshadow palettes. Zoeva, Urban Decay, TZ Cosmetics, Focalion. Yeah, don't buy this for the mattes is what I think. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the video. I really hope that you've enjoyed this bitching session. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know downstairs what your kind of recent disappointing products were, and I will see you in the next video.